Yeah, Shalom Israel. We're here to prophesy the downfall of this wicked kingdom.
Right.
And we're here to give double honours to the apostles that are preaching this truth in sincerity and to all our people around the globe in the four corners of the earth. And today we're going to be preaching the importance of giving alms, because that's important in this truth. That's a part of the work. You have to give alms, you know, because the Most High says giving alms covers the multitude of sins, and we're going to get into that. So, bring out Ecclesiasticus chapter 3 verse 30. Your brother, come in so you can bring out some precepts as well. So bring out the precepts of Matthew chapter 1, chapter 6, go on. Start at verse 1.
Beautiful.
Oh, I'm just curious. What religion is it?
With the Hebrew Israelite.
Yeah, that's the one. I watched some of your videos.
Okay, good, man. Yeah, where you from?
Latvia.
There's a lot of Hebrew Israelite over there. Although you got white skin, our people used to rule in Europe. The black men used to rule in Europe.
It's the book of
and we have sex with a lot of the white women. So a lot of you guys
water quench in flaming fire, and alms maketh an atonement for sins.
Alms maketh an atonement for sins. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean that you should willfully sin. No, that doesn't mean that. But again, that pretty much expresses the importance of giving alms, because it covers the multitude of sins, it atones for your sins. But it doesn't mean that you should willfully sin. You shouldn't willfully sin, because the Most High knows your heart. He knows your heart. So it's just like our people back in the day. They will sin with a sacrifice in mind. But it doesn't work like that. The Most High knows your heart. I'll bring out Matthew 6.
Matthew chapter 6 and verse 1. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. Otherwise ye have no reward of your Father which is in heaven.
So you can't be like these YouTubers or these celebrities with their camera out, you know, giving sandwiches to the homeless or giving money to the homeless. You can't do that, you know, because you already have your glory among men. You don't want to be looking for validation among men. You want to be looking for validation with the Most High. That's the ultimate validator.
That's right.
You know, he's the ultimate judge.
That's right.
So once you do things in secret, the Most High is going to reward you out in the open, because when you find yourself in a precarious situation, what's he gonna do? He's gonna reward you, because he's gonna look back and he helped out a homeless guy that asked him for money, so on and so forth. I'll read on.
Matthew 6 and verse 2. Therefore, when thou doest thy alms, do not sound a trumpet before thee, as the hypocrites do in the synagogues and in the streets, that they may have glory of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their rewards.
Right, that's what the Pharisees were doing. That's why Yahushua kept rebuking the Pharisees, because the Pharisees wanted to be seen constantly among men. That's why they used to wear their best garments, you know. They wanted to be seen amongst all the Jews in the synagogue, so on and so forth. They wanted that glory among men. That's why they were so carnal. That's why they didn't have the spirit to recognize the Son of the Most High, which was Yahushua.
Verse 3. But when thou doest alms, let not thy left hand know what thy right hand doeth, that thy alms may be in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret himself shall reward thee openly.
Right, he's going to reward you. If you do it in secret, he's going to reward you openly. That's that just balance that the Most High likes.
That's right.
Got a precept to that as well. It's the book of Matthew chapter 19 verse 21. It says, Yahushua said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. So like what the brother was saying, you know, but obviously giving to the poor what thou hast, you know, fellow poor brothers, fellow poor sisters, etc. I mean, giving to the homeless, giving back, etc. Because you know, if the Most High sees that, he's also going to bless you. Like what Yahushua said, if you'll be perfect, you'll have your treasure in heaven. So you know, it's essential that whether we have, whether we're rich in alms, rich in knowledge, you know, we've got to give to our fellow brothers and sisters. You know, because the Most High will reward you openly.
That's right.
So again, it's essential that we supply to fellow brothers and sisters, because there's concrete importance to it. That's what Yahushua stated.
Exactly, and one thing that's very important is that, you know, when you're doing it secretly, that shows that you're meek, because you're doing something without, you know, having glory from men. You know, whereas if you want to do something openly and you know, you seek validation from men, you've received your reward, man. You You know, Ecclesiasticus chapter 7 and verse 10. Be not faint-hearted when thou makest thy prayer, and neglect not to give alms.
So neglect not to give alms, meaning it's imperative that you give alms. You have to give alms, man. You have to give alms, and sometimes alms doesn't always have to come in the form of money, because the first definition for alms is having pity and mercy. So say for example you see a brother or sister in dire straits, or you may see a brother struggling to hold their bags. You know, often help that brother. You know, that is as simple as doing that. If you're lacking funds, then there's other way to give alms. Just you have to be thoughtful and creative.
Got a precept to what the brother just said. So it's the book of Deuteronomy chapter 15, starting at verse 7. If there be among you a poor man of one of thy brethren, within any of thy gates in thy land which the Lord thy God Yahweh giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother. So that's what the brother was saying, you know. It's important that obviously we give alms, and obviously it comes in all shapes and sizes. Don't harden your heart when supplying towards your poor fellow brothers and sisters, you know, because you will not have your reward. The Most High wants you to be fruitful and obviously be merciful upon your brother and sisters. Verse 8, but thou shalt open thine hand wide unto him, and surely should lend him sufficient for his need in that which he wanted. So whatever the fellow brother desire, you know, you got to supply what is sufficient to fulfill the brother's needs. You know, whatever your brother requires, make sure it's not limited. You know, make sure it's to the extent where your brother is satisfied and fulfilled. You know, because that's the Most High again will give you substantial reward for it. And again, not to be grievous when doing so, because remember, the Most High can read your mind. He knows what goes through your heart. So you know, your brothers may not know what you're thinking and feeling, but the Most High does. So you've got to ensure that, you know, an imperative that you've got to be fruitful and be merciful to thy fellow brothers. Because you'll have your reward from the Most High.
This is Acts chapter 10 and verse 2. A devout man and one that feared the Most High with all his house, which gave much alms to the people and prayed to the Most High always.
That's Cornelius. He was giving alms to his people, you know, because he was a Roman centurion. So he wasn't lacking funds. You know, he was giving a lot. He was earning a lot of money, because a centurion is a captain over 100 men, I believe it is. So he was a wealthy man. He was getting money, so he was giving alms to his people. That was a way for him to help and gain favor with the Lord. You know?
And him being a centurion, he was an Israelite. You know, because some people like to say that Cornelius was a literal like Edomite, but nah. Cornelius was an Israelite, but he was a centurion. You know. Let me continue from it.
Go down to verse 31.
Alright, Acts 10 and verse 31, and said, Cornelius, the prayer is heard, and thy alms are had in remembrance in the sight of the Most High.
Read that again, bro.
This is the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 31, and said, Cornelius, thy prayer is heard, and thy alms are had in remembrance in the sight of the Most High.
There you go, the Most High remembers your alms, and when you're praying, the Most High has that in mind. He's thinking to himself, oh, okay, this brothers gave alms to a multitude of people in need, so on and so forth. So let me help out serve him, you know.
Right.
It's the book of Acts, chapter 3, verse 2. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple. It's the book of Acts, chapter 3, verse 2. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple. Verse 3. Who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. Verse 4. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, look on us. Verse 5, and he gave heed unto him, expecting to receive something of them. Verse 6, then Peter said, silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Yahweh HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk. Verse 7, and he took him by the right hand and lifted him up, and immediately his feet and ankle bones received strength.
So that's a form of giving alms. It doesn't always have to be in the form of financial means, because he was Peter and John. Peter and John, they had spiritual power. So their alms was raising that lame man up. You know, they pretty much healed that lame man from what you call it again? From his condition. Yeah, from his condition, and that's a form of giving alms. And that's way better than giving money, you know.
Yeah, so this is, you want me to read it, yeah? Tobit 4 and verse 7. Give alms of thy substance, and when thou givest alms, let not thy eye be envious, neither turn thy face from any poor, and the face of the Most High shall not be turned away from thee.
There you go. That's self-explanatory. That's self-explanatory.
Yeah.
If you don't turn your eye away from the poor when you're in the time of need, the Most High is not going to turn his eye away from you. It's that simple.
And that can also apply to the poor that you see, the beggar that you see on the street, man. You know, if you give them a little bit of money here and there, the Most High can bless you for that, man. Absolutely. You know.
What does the scripture say? You reap what you sow. So what you put in is what you get out.
That's right.
Got a precept. Book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 4. Sorry, it's the book of Matthew chapter 5 verse 42. Give to him that asked thee, and from him that would borrow of thee turn not thou away. So you know, again, scripture's saying, importance, don't turn away from your fellow brothers and sisters. Whatever they ask you, supply it to you. Supply to them. You know, don't be grievous. You know, again, be fruitful, merciful, because you know you'll have your reward. And don't think to yourself, oh, I've got to give him money, I've got to give her money, oh, now I'm losing out on money, etc. You know what I mean? Because you know, money is just a source of energy, it can come just like that. Straight and simple. So don't stress about using anything that's, you know, that's heavenly glory, shall we say? Because you know, like what Yahweh said, lay up not for yourselves treasures that are on earth where moth and doth corrupt, where thieves break in and steal, where lay up yourselves for treasures in heaven where no thieves can break in and steal. So you know, as much as there's glory on earth, but there's also heavenly rewards, and you know, the Most High will also give you a reward in heaven if you just follow what He commands you to do accordingly. So again, the importance of supplying onto that fellow poor brothers and sisters is very essential, and again, not to be grievous.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 37 and verse 21, and it reads, the wicked borroweth and payeth not again, but the righteous showeth mercy and giveth.
The righteous showeth mercy and giveth.
Yeah.
And we as righteous men, that's what you have to strive for. We have to give, we have to freely give. You know?
That's right.
Because this wicked society is based on usury. You know, they don't freely give. You know, there's always an agenda behind something. So when you give, make sure there's no agenda behind it.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a sincere heart when you give.
Yeah.
Precept. Book of Proverbs chapter 28 verse 27.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is the book of Proverbs chapter 28 verse 27, and it reads, he that giveth unto the poor shall not lack, but he that hideth his eyes shall have many a curse.
You're not going to lack. If you give to the poor, you're not going to lack, because the Most High records everything. Everything that you do, the Most High records it. So you're not going to lack. In the day of need and the time of trouble, the Most High has got you. As long as you're keeping the commandments and having faith in Yahweh Shai, listen, the Most High has got you.
And what's the highest form of giving? You know, this truth, man.
Right.
You know, and another form of giving is laying your life down for your brother, man. You know, it says, great have no love than these, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Why is that? Because Yahweh Shai gave his life, man. You know, and charity covereth a multitude of sins. You know, so giving helps, man.
Can someone read Psalm 139 and 6? 16. Let's see what it says, bro.
This is Psalms 139 and verse 16, and it reads, "Thine eyes did see my substance, yet being unperfect, and in thy book all thy members were written, which in continuance were fashioned, and when as yet there was none of them."
So obviously it talks about, you know, before you were born in that, but it should also show that everything is written. Everything that we do is written. There's another one as well. Can you go to I don't know if it's Psalm 56 and 8. Let's
Psalms
see what it says.
56 and verse 8, and it reads, "Thou tellest my wanderings."
Okay, that's the one. Go on.
"Thou tellest my wanderings, put down my tears into thy
So
bottle."
the first one, Psalm 139, show that. In fact, if we go someone that's poor, that's probably because, you know, the Most High, you know, they written it. That's a script. So we have the obligation to help, to give harm to us. They're in the movie of the Most High as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And read that part now. So
Psalms 56 and verse 8, "Thou tellest my wanderings, put down my tears into thy bottle, are they not in thy book?"
right. So everything that we do is recorded, man.
Yeah.
So when we do it, we don't have necessarily to do it because of something, because the Most High wanted us to do it. But we should know that, you know, we'll be blessed. When you bless people, you'll be blessed.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line on it.
That's right.
You want to bless people because you will be blessed when you bless other people.
That's right.
When you bless the less fortunate, or people that may not have at the time being, you know, at the moment when you meet them or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be part of our nature anyway. But don't do it because you want to. Because there's a precept that reading where people they will bless you because they want you. For example, if you see something that when they go off, then if someone bless you and then you see him go off, it will be hard for you to come and say, "Yo, you're going off," because they kind of corrupted you with that, you know.
Yeah.
That they say gift destroys the heart. So when you bless people, don't bless them because you got like a hidden agenda. Man.
Yeah.
That's where you're wicked.
Yeah.
Us being on the law, we're not supposed to move like that.
That's right.
Yeah, brother.
It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 21, verse 26. And it reads, He coveteth greedily all the day long, but the righteous giveth and spareth not.
Righteous giveth and spareth not.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what you got to do as a righteous man. You got to freely give. You know, because when you're greedy, you can't just be trying to hold on to all your money because that's essentially not yours. The Most High gave you that money. You know, so at least give some of your money away to the poor and needy. At least give some of it because it's not yours. At the end of the day, it's not yours. The Most High has put the Spirit on you to go and acquire that money. Especially if you're a wealthy man, you can't just be hogging all that money to yourself. That's wicked.
And what happens when you have sand? You know, when you have sand, if you hold it, you know, it'll start to come out of your hand, man. You know, because everything in this society is corruptible. So there is an expiration date on the plastic money, man. You know, because it turns to ashes, man. It's gonna burn. So yeah.
The whole brothers and sisters and the nation were edified by this lesson because it's just important to give alms because, as it says in the scriptures, it atones for your sins. It doesn't mean that you should sin, but yeah, giving alms is important. So
that's right.
We want to give all praises
to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Waha, Rakah, Kodash. Shalom.
Shalom.